Hello, Dr. Martin Rutherford, certified functional medicine practitioner and chiropractor.
Dr. Randall Gates, board certified chiropractic neurologist, also a chiropractor.
And welcome to Keys to Success number 100. It was suggested by our producer here that we do a talk on consistency. And we have been consistent with doing these hangouts every week because we have a goal. And we're going to talk about in our hangout today, we're going to talk about what makes us different. And I think one of the things that makes us different is we care in a sense that we want people to get better and stay better.
Right.
Okay. We don't, if at all possible, we want you to be done to the degree you can be done when you're done with your program. And consistency is a part of that. And, you know, it's interesting. My outlet when I'm not here is sports. My outlet is sports. I enjoy watching baseball. I'm a big Yankees fan. Don't throw things at the camera, those of you who are Yankee haters. But I like to watch that. I love to watch college basketball, and I golf. And it's interesting. There's aspects in all of those areas where there are players that are more successful than others. And what you're doing in trying to stay better is a game. And it's a tough game. It's a game of having to change your lifestyle, maybe having to look at things a little different as far as food and what it means versus food being social versus it being your lifeline and your drug to staying well. But these the top athletes today, if you listen, even if you're not in sports, I think this will resonate. They have a plan. They have a plan. Hitters in baseball, they have a plan. Some of them, their plan is, I'm going to walk up to the plate and all I'm going to do is try to find a ball I can drive and hit a line drive. I'm not going to try to hit a home run. I'm not going to try to hit it to right field. And I'm going to do that all the time. These are the hitters that tend to hit 300, which is high in baseball for those of you who aren't aware of it. You watch some of these basketball players, and when they're making foul shots, they'll go up to the line. Some of them will bounce the ball 3 times, put it over the left hand, put it over the right, take a shot. Some of them will bounce the ball, spin it, and before they even think, they'll take a shot. They tend to be the best free throw shooters. And in golf, it's even more so. Golf, there's a ball that just sits there. The best golfers have the best golf mind. It's not about them hitting the ball the best. It's they assess, they stand behind the ball, they do the same thing every time. They assess the field, they look at where the hazards are, they decide what the type of shot they're going to make. It's going to go high, it's going to go low, it's going to fade, it's going to draw. And then they walk past that decision line, and then they look at their target and they swing that club, and they swing it the same way every time. That's consistency, and that's what it takes to be successful in sports. And it's probably what it takes to be successful in everything else. I think our consistency is one of the things that helps us to do our job here and do it in a good manner and show up every day and go by the same principles. By the same token, this success in staying well is really about consistency. We've done talks about there's no magic bullet. And we've done talks about please don't let other people come out there and start giving you the magic bullet or this supplement that's going to help your immune system, or listen to the video online that has 273 views from the doctor who's cured all of his fibromyalgia patients for the last 55 years. And I could go on and on forever. We've already evaluated all that for you, but consistency goes beyond that. It really kind of goes to the basics. What I just got done talking about was the basics. Find the swing that works for you and stick with it. Don't tweak with it. Don't make it harder than it is. You know, just keep doing it. So what should they just keep doing?
What's that ritualistic aspect to your life that I think that you definitely have?
And it's hard.
I have. And
let me just acknowledge, it's hard for those guys to do the same thing over and over and over and over again because their mind wants to do something else.
Right. And we're not saying we're perfect, but this is just what's worked for us. That's what allowed you to get through all the years that you've been doing this and still show up to work, even when sometimes you weren't feeling so great. It's that pattern and sticking to your diet that's maintained your success rate because,
and
well, I won't go into
exercises.
your personal story too much, but very well you could have not been doing this
Right.
if you had not taken care of your health. So the point is that what I see, people make fun of Dr. Rutherford and I because we eat the same thing every day. Now, we're not saying you have to eat the same thing every day, but we do talk about the mind a lot. And it's our mind that really wants us to go out and have fun. And we're not saying that you can't have fun, but it tends to get people into trouble when they fall off their routine. So if you miss your brain exercises in the morning, and then you forget to take your supplements, and then you haven't packed a lunch, and so then you go out to lunch, you eat something bad. You see the pattern, but I hear this all the time, day in and day out. It's really that when you lack that routine, when you get off of that, when you're trying to do this program, or you're trying to control an autoimmune disease like we are through neurology, through diet, through certain supplements, it's incredibly hard to maintain when you don't have those rituals. That's just the fact of the matter. You don't have that consistency. Because then you start eating food you shouldn't. You go to a dinner party and you haven't ate all day, and so you reach for the pizza. It's just what happens. So I think maybe just looking at your life, you don't have to be, what do you call it, an automaton? You don't have to be an automaton. You don't have to be a robot. You don't have to be Dr. Rutherford or me. But the more you can say, okay, these brain exercises are so important to me. My relaxation exercises that I've given to you are so important to me, whether it be prayer or meditation time. My diet is so important to me. So I'm going to take the time on Sunday to go to the store and shop so I have plenty of food and prepare my meals. And then I'm going to have those meals throughout the day ready for me so I don't get into trouble. I'm going to take my supplements with me. Those are the factors that lead to success. Those are patients who do the best in the long run, where it's really a priority. And when it's not, it's going to fall by the wayside, just like everything else. That's why every January 1st, what do you see? You see a gazillion exercise commercials. Why? Because everybody has stopped going to the gym. Everybody has stopped walking. Everybody has stopped exercising. Everybody has been eating the wrong things. But for those who just maintain that ritual, like the tortoise rather than the hare, you're going to have better success.
Yeah, and let me just acknowledge it's hard. I mean, yesterday I had a patient that I strongly discouraged from doing the program. And the reason for that was I didn't feel that that person had the right, there was a lot of red flags there that that person may not be able to do the types of things that need to be done once they need to be done. By our accepting in the program or offering a program, we're saying we think you can do it. And it's not easy. Look, we have a friend from India who has never eaten meat in his life. He is a hardcore vegetarian. He's not a vegan, right? He eats cheese, I think. He's like cheese balls and stuff like that. And he comes here somewhat regularly to visit us. And he says, this is the hardest place on planet Earth to be a vegetarian. Now, we're not asking all of you to be vegetarians. I guess some folks have been given vegetarian diets. But you're in a culture that is half sick, maybe more than half sick. You're in a culture where the estimates now are that between 130 and 160 million people are now chronic pain patients, okay? Meaning they're sick. It's because it's difficult. It's because the things that are making us sick are promoted as the things to have fun, that make you socially acceptable, that are cool, that if you're not doing it, you're like some sort of a moron or something like that, or whatever. And so you kind of have to really understand that and change your philosophy and understand that you were most of our patients are pretty sick when they started here. We don't usually get very easy cases. We usually get complex cases with multiple vicious cycles and so who've been a lot of places and taken a lot of drugs and gone to alternative practitioners and the whole thing. And I mean, most people do pretty well walking out of here. Okay, if you really compare it to all of that, they do really extremely well, and you have the tools to stay better. One of the problems of today's society is just all of the data that's hitting you by people who are not experts in the field, or people who are experts who have something to sell, or somebody who's promoting their vitamins, and on and on. It's like crazy compared to like what it used to be when I was a kid. You know, you just didn't have all that hitting you. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. So you have to, I mean, I can get into like some sort of a motivational type of thing. I mean, I could actually do motivational speaking, but in the end, you have to get very clear on what you're trying to accomplish. For me, it's really simple. I mean, it's just important to me to feel good just supporting me feel good. I don't think that you can be happy if you're not healthy. I know you can't think well. I know you can't have energy. If you don't have energy, you can't do the things you want to do. If chemistry's off and it's making you depressed or anxiety or tired or something like that, you don't feel good. I mean, to me, that's enough. To me, that's enough of a goal. I want to feel good. I'm willing to look around and go, despite all things around me that battle against that, I'm willing to look around and take the hit and say, I just don't feel like wanting, then get the dirty look and then get whatever it is, or get the waitress who's going to give me a hard time, which is less and less and less and less and less and less than it used to be. I don't care. I don't care. It's like, I want to feel well. I want to live a full life. I want to be able to do my job. And so that's what it is for me. I don't know what it is for you. If it's not that, you need to find out what it is. But consistency is boring. The mind always wants to go off in other directions. It's like, okay, I did this for 3 months. Now can I go out and have a banquet and eat everything I'm not supposed to? No, you can't. But go ahead and see what happens. And maybe you'll be the person who says that 2 or 3 times and goes, well, I'm not doing this anymore. There's all kinds of pathways, but consistency ultimately is going to be where all those pathways lead you back to. It's going to be that guy who takes 500, I don't know how many free throws you take in a season, takes 500 free throws in a season, and you can time his routine down to the 10th of a second from the time he grabs that ball, bounces it 2 times, spins it in his hands, and throws it through the hoop. That's the guy who's shooting 90% free throws, which if you're not a basketball player, not many people are shooting 90% free throws. We want you to be the guy who's shooting 90% free throws. Because if you are, you're not going to be coming back here to see us. You're going to be on your own. You're going to be happy. You're going to be like having a good time. And that's what we want. That's what we want for everybody who walks in here. We don't accomplish that for everybody. Right now, most of our thinking, Dr. Gates and I meet every Saturday morning. Most of our thinking, most of our intentions is to try to figure out how to help you to stay better. Staying better means not coming into our office. Okay. We're trying to figure out how to help you to stay better.
Right. Because we're good at getting you better.
Yeah.
Because most people are substantially improved by the end of this, but then staying better.
And what you'll find is as you stay consistent, you'll keep getting better. I mean, I had some of my short-term, I had my language skills come back in the middle of the summer about 5 years after I started this. Out of nowhere, something started to click in my left midbrain, and all of a sudden words that I hadn't used in years just came out of nowhere. So the Chinese say in their classic literature, it takes 7 years. Once you do something like this, it takes 7 years for all your cells to function properly and to get the maximum benefit out of it. I could definitely say it's probably 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but they have had thousands of years to watch this type of thing evolve, and it's 7 years of discipline. It's 7 years of consistency. So this is our 100th consistent presentation. We think we've only missed a couple of Tuesdays in all that time, and we like to think that would be us saying that we live what we say relative to the consistency of what we do. So consistency is going to be the key. You'll find out if you stick to that program that Dr. Gates give you, unless you get some sort of an infection or a viral infection or go through another stress or something like that, you'll do well. You'll keep doing well. And if you do go through one of those things and you're consistent and you get back on it, there's an awfully good chance you still won't have to call us and go, hey, something happens. So that's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you watching. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll be back next week.